For more on the two sessions, I'm joined live in Chicago by Dali Yang. He's a political science professor at the University of Chicago. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good evening, Elaine.
And one of the big issues we heard about was adding to and enhancing the civil code to better protect people's rights. It's been going on for quite some time. New changes now to this. Do you think it'll work?
Well, I think it's certainly a move forward in the sense that so many laws have been enacted and promulgated over time. Very often, the laws enacted at different times may be a little bit in conflict here and there. Developing such a civil code would help to actually integrate the different laws into one masterful framework so that they are all more or less in harmony. Of course, there are concerns as well. Some people do say that, oh, maybe you are rushing too much. But this is actually already, there have been several efforts, and I think this time there is a much more substantive move going forward.
Anti-graft, also a big topic over the weekend. President Xi previously stated that the anti-corruption battle must go deeper. Do you get a sense those goals are being met? And tell us why it is so important.
Well, certainly, after 30-plus years of rapid growth, there were a lot of special interests. There's a lot of corruption in the Chinese system. So in that sense, the leadership is deeply, deeply committed at this point in terms of really removing or taming those special interests, and at the same time bringing in a more disciplined Communist Party and also a more kind of clean government. The challenge, of course, is there are no specific quotas, but in fact, there are people who are complaining. There are whistleblowers. There are the CDIC, Central Discipline Inspection Commission, is inviting public input into the process. But at the same time, this process against the corrupt is also fraught with complaints. Because, of course, there are certain measures, for example, taking into custody without the due legal process is one of those. So one of the new laws that are being considered by the National People's Congress will be the state supervision law. And with that, that will help to authorize a new supervisory commission. It's almost like a major constitutional change that would allow China to establish almost like an anti-corruption branch of government or a state authority, so that that commission can oversee the entire state apparatus as well as the political party and the advisory councils as well.
Let's turn to the military. President Xi looking to deepen military-civilian integration. Is this part of a sweeping effort to overhaul China's military, or is this a message to the West and to the United States?
Well, in fact, it's both. On the one hand, the Chinese government under President Xi has been trying to streamline the military, make it more modern. They are also demobilizing 300,000 soldiers to make it smaller, but more capable. At the same time, the Chinese leadership, in fact, as they are introducing a new theater command system, in some ways emulating the U.S., they also eye enviously at the U.S. military, in fact, industrial complex. For example, our companies such as Boeing, Lockheed Martin, and so on, are actually companies listed on stock exchanges. And as a result, actually, they are very competitive, but also a lot of the issues are left to the private economists to manage. They just contract with the government. The Chinese really wants a more efficient, more competitive military sector as well in the same time. And of course, they also look at SpaceXs and so on that are doing private space launches now already, whereas that is solely done by the government. And when the government only is involved, there are problems of efficiency, of corruption, and so on. So this effort to promote military-civilian integration, personally led by President Xi, actually, is a very interesting effort to integrate the military and the civilian side, make them actually work together, but also to harness the civilian sector in boosting China's military capabilities.
All right, just some of the key issues there during the two sessions. Dali Yang, we appreciate your insight. Thank you for joining us.